Now, as I mentioned, you could take the sheet as it is and import it into the Bulk Publishing AI WordPress plugin to then generate information about product 1, product 2, and all of these other fields using the research data. And the research data is a function or a feature that allows you to search the SERPs for a particular query. So it comes up with the top 10 results and it combines them in the same way that Perplexity AI does. And it uses AI to create a unique summary. So you can tell it to do that from product 2, product 1, or from the verses itself. So it's going to take the entire query and it's going to come up with its own data based on the SERPs. So that's what you would use in the plugin to inform all of these columns, all of these prompts. And it's going to work with your prompt to fill out this data. So in the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. But before that, I want to talk a bit about if you wanted to take a more data-driven approach or a more programmatic SEO approach. And I have 3 easy-to-use no-code scraping tools. And I've mentioned these 2, or Outscraper in particular, in the past. Hexify is a new tool, so I'm going to show you how it works. And Hexamatic is, as you can tell by the logo and the name, I think this is the main product. And Hexify is just a simple version, a Google Chrome plugin that you can use when you're on a specific page if you want to scrape the data of that page. Hexamatic would allow you to take these 10 or however many products you could have 100 products, and you can scrape the Amazon product data, you can scrape product reviews as well. Hopefully your minds are ticking over with ideas of combining reviews, so scraping reviews and scraping product data, and how you might be able to use AI to come up with product descriptions, pros and cons lists, all kinds of data. But Hexamatic has a whole suite of tools that will allow you to do this at scale. Hexify is a plugin. I've just got the unlimited version, and that's just on your Google Chrome. So it's while you're in the flow of things, you can just pop the plugin open and use it to scrape the data on the page, which is what I'm going to be doing today because there's only 10 of them. And it's easier than sitting and waiting for the Hexamatic workflow. Likewise, Outscraper is very easy. You paste the list and then it's going to give you back a CSV with all the rows of data. So you would have the ratings, the product ratings, the product description, how many stars it has, the price, all of those things, you'd have that in there. I'm going to try the Hexify version because I've not yet used it. We've got the Dell Inspiron 15 3525. Now here is where it might make sense to not compare specifically the model number, because if we just done Dell Inspiron 15, we could get away with doing this one, the newest one. But it's fine. People might be looking for a very specific one. There's a $300 difference, so let's go with this one. And now we're going to use Hexify. And Hexify is going to look at all the data on the page. We can see it's getting the URL, the product title, price, ASIN. I don't know if it's actually going to grab this stuff. We've got that's the ASIN. I think these, okay, parameter name and parameter value. So these are linked, the seller and that. I don't know if that's enough data. I don't know if we can grab our own data. 5, let's just see. You can download the CSV or save to Google Sheets, which of course is my favorite method, straight to it. You can make new templates, so see what it gives us. Okay, so it's done a duplicate, it's the same thing. So we've got the price, which we don't include, as we know better from Amazon. They don't like it. We've got the ASIN, which is going to come in handy. And that's the seller name, rate. Reviews 1 rating. Was that the case? Oh, okay, it was. It's interesting. So we probably wouldn't want to link to that one. We would want to find... Okay, here's the one. I think this is the one. B525. We'd want to link to this one. Let's do that again. Let's see if anything's going to be different. This is unlimited, so there's no tokens or anything like that. I've got the unlimited Hexify and I can just scrape to my heart's content. Okay, so it's got different versions, but we're just going to go with... We'll go with this one. 104, 4.4. Is this the... Okay, this is the link to the page. So from this, it's not really given us the description. It wants us to go to the page to get the description, which is not... I was quite hoping for it to give me the page, so give me what's on the page. What I could take from here is the ASIN. That's probably it. That's all I would take from that, because I wouldn't really care about this. Okay, this does say average. What does it say? No. I thought it had better information there. Average customer review has a small extra line. Yeah, I was hoping for better. Definitely was hoping for better, but all I would take from that would be the ASIN. So I would want to have another... I'm going to duplicate this because there are two versions. There's a programmatic SEO version and a non-programmatic SEO version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the shortcode for the product on its own ahead of time. So when I put my template together, it's going to say product 1. It's going to have the name of the product in a H3, about product 1, probably, and just above my description of the product, I'll have the product box, and it will be in a shortcode. So it's going to display a box, which is, I've heard Lasso are also doing something like this. So if you don't have AFI or if you have AAWP or any other tool that allows you to use shortcodes, you can do this method. You can also do the keyword. I don't know if others allow you to, but you can also just do the keyword instead of the ASIN. So you don't actually have to go and find these ASINs. You can use the box, which is my preferred method, and you can put the keyword and it will find the closest thing to that keyword. So I'll show you how I would do it with the shortcode, and I'll show you how I do it with the keyword in the non-PSEO version. With the box, we just go for something like this. This is what I would use for keyword. So I'll just put the product keyword in there while I'm in my plugin. But for the ASIN and a single product, okay, we'll grab this one. Of course, you could use concatenate if you don't want to make the shortcode for each and every one of these. You could just create the concatenate and then have the ASINs in a separate column and then swap that out. But we're going to do this to show the data-driven way. Okay, so it looks like with Hexify, you can get better results if you make your own templates. So it says suggested fields to capture, which we've already tried and they weren't the best. But we can capture the title, and we'll set that as text, I guess. And title. Do I save now or do I keep going? Let's see. Save. Oh, it saved the whole recipe. Nope. So now I know not to do that. Let's start again. So new. Can I just edit this template? I can. Okay, so we don't really need the price because Amazon doesn't like it, but we'll grab it. Number, I'll just set it as text. That's going to be price. And we can keep going. We can grab an individual box or the entire box to show all the different versions available, which might be a good thing to grab. We'll just do that, because why not? Did it grab all of them? Don't know, it's showing an example. Variations, maybe. And then we could go in and grab, grab the whole box. Product info. And you can save this recipe. So if you know what you want to grab from Amazon, you would create your recipe so you don't have to select them every time. About this item, which is what we wanted. And again, you can single out each of these bullet points, or you can just grab the product box, which it's going to look for on the page. About. And more, you can add all of this stuff as well. Why not? Call it more info. And you've got Q&As, which you could use that in another way. Again, I hope you're thinking outside the box. You could take these and come up with some FAQs and answer. There's so much you can do. Okay, technical details. Don't know if we need all of this. Warranty information. You might not want to grab that. You might want to, yeah. But as you can see, the more information you grab, the more data you have to work with. And that's what makes programmatic SEO so powerful. You've got a world of data you can work with. Can you grab the entire, yes you can, box of reviews? But bear in mind, if you are trying to work with this data, okay, that's not too much. You could grab the whole box. That wouldn't be too bad. But you probably wouldn't want all the names and stuff. It's a bit much. You can grab how many 5-star reviews it has, the average. But let me grab a good review, because this looks like they've written quite a bit. So let's grab this text and see review. Oh, and it has looked for the multiple instances on the page, because I can see 8. So it has grabbed multiple reviews, which would be good, because you can use this to write your product description or write a personal product description. What I like to do is write an about the product, which is based on this information, actual details. And then I'll do something like my experience with the product. And that's where the reviews come in handy. Of course, this is not an ethical way of doing things, but if you were trying to do a review and you wanted to do it from a personal or first person perspective, these are some of the techniques that you would use. Reviews. And that's all I'm going to grab for now. Save. Now we want to use the recipe. And these are all the fields. And save to Google Sheets. Let's see how the data looks. The good thing is we don't have to clean the data. Usually with programmatic SEO, you want to clean the data so you can use it properly, and that takes a lot of time. But you can just group everything together and then use that and let AI deal with the rest. So we have a lot of data here. But in all truth, besides the reviews, the research data feature on the plugin does a better job at grabbing the information about the product. This is very minimal, very basic. The only plus here would be the variation. So you can tell them the different versions available, but you wouldn't want to tell them the prices, but you could tell them you could get the 16 gig version with 1 terabyte or 32 and so on. So if you wanted to go in depth, again, it depends how deep you want to go with your product reviews or your comparisons. But again, you can see how you can piece this information together. For me, I would be looking to take these reviews to help inform a very specific area of the content. So I would have another, it's going to be for product 1 month, product 2 month. And this would be me saying or writing in a prompt, after a month of usage, this is my take. And I would be using this information to tell it that. Let's go product 1 review. Set column right. Product 2 review. Okay. So I would put these all in one cell, of course. It's a lot of data, but GPT-4 can handle it. And because this is a whole sheet, it looks like you'd have to sit down and do this for all of them, but you only need to do it for 10, of course. So you've got to do that 10 times, and then you want to find where they are. So this is product 2. This is the Dell Inspiron 15 3-5-25. So that's this one. And I would be doing that up until 18. And I'd be putting that now in product 1. See where I am. I'll be putting that in product 1 review up until 18. Yeah. So you'd want to go and do that and fill your sheet out. It might take you an hour, but at the end of it, you have a full sheet of data and you're going to have 45 posts at the end of that. So now that I've already done the template, it should be a bit quicker to get this information. The rest I'll be using the sheet to do. So the next one I'm going to do is this one. And I'm actually doing this as best as I can to demonstrate, because these are going to be published on the bulk publishing site. So here's one, it has some reviews. Hexify. Would be so much easier if I'd just done Hexamatic. But I did want to learn how to use this tool. See, I don't need to keep doing this because it says as soon as I click on Hexify, it grabs it and it keeps it in that one session. So when I go over to the sheet, it refreshes the sheet with this new data. So this one does have some reviews. It would be better if it wasn't making duplicate entries. So I have to figure out why it's doing that. What I'm going to do, instead of having to copy and paste the ASIN, which is, I did want to show you it with the ASIN, but it's not necessary, especially when we can just use the product name when we import it into the WordPress plugin. We'll just use the product name. It's just much easier, much faster, and that's what we want to do. And there's a reason I need to copy and paste all of these. I'll show you, because every individual entry is on its own. Everything on this line is not going to be able to look at anything on this line, and so on. These are all individual entries, which is why we have our internal links on each row. They can't just grab from random rows. I'll have to figure out a way that we can so they can cross over, but it might present some issues, so it's not something I'm looking to do just yet. We're slowly getting somewhere. I'm going to pause it and fill this out because this is monotonous copy and pasting, but you now understand a bit more about giving data to the spreadsheet. Of course, this is a very manual method. Hexamatic would have scraped all of the necessary information for me. Product data, product reviews, it would have done a better job. I would still need to group the reviews because they'd be on individual lines. I still need to clean the data in some way. My idea of cleaning is just putting it all into one box. When I put it in my tool, it's already in one box and the AI can do the rest of the work for me. Usually you'd have them all in their individual columns and you'd have to glue that data together if you were just using programmatic SEO. So this is where AI really comes in and powers up the programmatic SEO approach, because it can understand the data. If you have a chunk of data, it can understand it and do whatever you tell it to do. And you don't have to worry about having a million columns with everything broken up and worry about missing data, because that's another problem with programmatic SEO. You may have some columns that have no information, and you've already made a template that includes that data. So you just have a block of missing information. And with Python, you can clear that missing information and not worry about it. But when you're doing something like a Google Sheet, it's not so easy to do. So I'm going to fill this sheet, and in the next section, I'm going to upload it to the site, create the prompts and the template, and then you'll see what it looks like with all of these articles published.